Hey, it's Friday, it's 3 o'clock. Welcome to Together Unlocked, brought to you by Together 2012 in this, the first week of our Making History Together 2020 Disability History Month Festival. We had the opening event last night, so we're going to be talking about that later, along with having a really good look at what's already open and what's coming up. But first, I'm Ju Gosling. I'm also the artistic director of Together 2012. Shielding with me in my East London studio is our chair, the artist and campaigner Julie Newman. But before we come back to East London for some audio description, we're going to go to the other end of our long wheeled sofa where we have introduced yourselves with some audio description, guys.
Okay, so good afternoon. Welcome to Friday. So I'm Robin Surgeonator. I am the business director at Together 2012, co-host of Unlocked TV, and an artist known as Angry Fish. Today, I am sporting my post-festival launch look, which might sound like something lazy. It's not. I've cultured this. I've cultivated the look. I've noticed that like my slightly sticky up bit of hair. So to start at the very top of my head, slightly above my hair, is an errant piece of hair demonstrating yesterday's excitement. The rest of it is silvery grey um, or white. I have no rimmed black armed glasses. Um, they're suitably unshaven, and I am wearing a black t-shirt and a black hoodie with some nondescript writing somewhere down the towards the left uh, tummy bit of the shirt. And yeah, I've forgotten my body parts. There you go. And in terms of why I'm dressed this way, is actually it really is. I am going out to have the debrief relaxation um, party that always happens after a festival launch. So I am dressed up to not go to a festival launch other than the one we're having, the post festival launch party that we will now have at home.
And do you want at the same point to introduce dressing up to go out to stay in Friday feature?
Oh, I am sorry. So I kind of, yeah, I preempted all of that there. So having just told you why I am now dressed this way to not go out, because every Friday we run our dressed up to stay in, dressed up to go out to stay in feature, which originated in New Zealand, where people in New Zealand would put on their absolute kind of best bib and tucker, their opera suits, their morning jackets, their bow ties to not go anywhere. Now, obviously, we have all of those things, but we don't want to wear those every week. So, what we've decided to do is between us and encouraging all of our viewers is to each week come up with somewhere that you would love to be going, dress up for that. It could be something real, somewhere you've always liked to go, or somewhere utterly um, in your imagination. As Ju always says, it could be the bottom of the sea, it could be the moon, it could be the top of Mount Everest, or it could be the park round the corner at current times. And that is what we do. We are dressing up to go out to stay in. And on that
Hopefully
note,
not to stay up to stay in too much longer, because look what it did for New Zealand. You know, the whole country dressed up on a Friday and now they're cupboard free. So what are you dressed up to do, Josh?
Well, hi, I'm Josh Surgeonator. I'm one of the other hosts of Together Unlocked, and I'm a PhD student, which ties into my outfit, which I'll get to slightly later. But in terms of my audio description, I always say mid to long length. I think I'm going to have to start dropping the mid. I think it's now just long blonde hair. Uh, Today, I am wearing my black framed glasses, and I'm wearing a uh, grey hooded sweatshirt that in kind of very thick embroidered letters it says Sheffield Hallam University, and it has a big H, and then it has established, and then uh, whatever year it was established in. 1843.
1843.
There we go. Um, I probably should know what year that the university I've done 2 degrees at was established at, but there we go. Um, I am wearing this outfit probably for the most accurate of my dressing up so far. This is the sort of thing that I would wear to the library, uh, or if I just have loads of work to do. It's a really kind of oversized hoodie with a big hood. Um, so I am wearing it for a monster library session this weekend. And thankfully, I raided the library just before the pandemic. So I have a collection of textbooks that I think weigh more than I do, as well as it all kind of online. So yeah, I am dressed up to go and be very studious this weekend because I have lots of work to do.
And you look very studious. Julie, who are you? What do you look like? And what are you dressed up to do?
I can see I'm the source of some amusement amongst my colleagues. I'm Julie. I'm the chair of Together 2012. Please remember that.
See, I thought you'd joined Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Sadly not. That would be fun, wouldn't it? No, I'm today wearing a, is it blue hat?
Oh dear, this is where the artists all start
blue.
arguing over colours again. I think it's purple, but of course, I'm sure there's a colour like hyacinth that it might be.
It's not quite hyacinth. It's sort of more to the dark purple, bluish. Little hat.
It is.
It's on the top of my head. So I've not got much hair sticking out, but what I do have is a sort of golden silvery sort. I have dark rimmed glasses, and today I'm wearing a polo shirt with little anchors on it. And that's because I'm going sailing to the Vendée Globe race around the world, which is very exciting. I was just going to try and check. I think it's in day 5 or day 6. I think it might be day 6.
Well, we have a something for the weekend feature coming up after 3:30, so I shall get that to you to check that while a video is playing, and we can talk some more. But I have to say, if I was going to get on a sailing boat, particularly in this weather, I'd be in a dry suit and, of course, a life jacket.
Well, so would I if I had access to the kit, but it's all at home, so there we go. But it is a pretend, isn't it? However,
this is before I send the assistance dog to get the life jacket. A bit of authenticity.
The key part of today's little adventure is I'm going to have a full breakfast cooked for me. And it's going to be wonderful because you have to do that if you go sailing, have a proper breakfast. And I'm really looking forward to that.
So, after delivering a breakfast, a nice breakfast every single morning since lockdown started in March, apparently that's not good enough. We need a full one. So, apart from looking a little bit offended, I have short red, well, hennaed red hair in a self-styled corona crop. I've got olive skin, green eyes, black glasses, black wrist braces, and silver-coloured jewellery. And I'm wearing a delightful shirt. I'm not entirely sure even where I'm going, but I am dressed up to go out, to stay in. And I started today in a t-shirt and I thought, this is really bad. My idea of dressing up is just to put on a different t-shirt. And I think anybody who's been watching Unlocked since March just knows that to be an absolute fact. So this is one of my favorite kind of dressy shirts, but I hardly ever wear it. And it's got a history that made me think we as disabled people, I think we're doing the kind of upcycling, recycling and not throwing any fashion out long before it ever became popular, because I must have had this probably more than 25 years. And it was originally made by a fashion student. So it's a handmade shirt, quite baggy, but with a rather tight neck. So I've got the top button open. And it's a lovely cotton fabric, which is printed with effectively very sort of watercolory floral patterns in purples, turquoises, yellows, greens, and blues. I don't know why I'm looking at it because I could just look at myself in the monitor. Just admiring it again. And it was part of a project, I think, by Oxfam to look at how to make things with recycled materials. And so this was all made with recycled materials, like I say, hand sewn. It's got beautiful, sparkly buttons in all sorts of different colours. And I just thought, well, I don't wear it because I haven't got the ideal occasion, but this is the ideal occasion because I can just sit in it at home. And it was making me think as well that, funnily enough, since I've been at home all the time, I am dressing up more to stay in because it ceases to be that thing about, oh, I'm at home, so I'll just wear yesterday's t-shirt or I'll just slop around. Now I know some of you have been doing that for 6 months and absolutely loving it, but then I get to wear casual stuff at work anyway, which of course lots of people don't. So yeah, I've been really enjoying going, actually, I'm going to wear my clothes for me, and I'm, well, possibly a little bit for Julie, but really just kind of going, oh, I feel much better if I'm wearing something nice and I'm enjoying my own clothes and I can enjoy them for me. So I thought actually dressing up to go out to stay in really is a bit of a well-being thing. Just to finish the audio description, behind us, well, we should have said no expense spared. We've got some very cheap red curtains for the festival behind our West Midlands presenters, and we have some very cheap similar ones in the silver grey. And above that, you can just see a little bit of our graffiti banner. If you could see it properly, and I will show you it as an image in a minute, then you would see that it had images of all the arts that we deliver over the course of a year. So street art, carnival art, visual art, live art, music, poetry, spoken word, photography, filmmaking, dance, and much, much more. We deliver our annual festival in Disability History Month, and we started that this week, and we're going to tell you more about that in a minute. Are you okay there over in the West Midlands?
Sorry.
Yes, we were just moving my computer because it's currently doing some processing in the background, and the fan's just kicked in, and it's getting very loud. So I was moving it further away from the mic.
Oh, well, I've got very poor short-term memory, so and very easily distracted. So you'll just have to bear with me. So yes, we deliver a festival, but we also have, as part of our festival, a year-round outreach program in East London, which we call our Clubs program. That's free to any disabled person who can, well, usually can get to East London on a weekday morning, and anybody they want to bring with them for support. Carers can join in on an equal basis. At the moment, of course, we're not delivering those activities in physical venues, but we are delivering our clubs via Zoom and phone. There's lots more information about that on the website www.together2012.org.uk. And we also have a join in from home programme, and we'll tell you a bit more about that later. And just finally, on the audio description, between Julie and I, perched on the curtains, is a blue and white teddy bear called Nigel. Nigel is taking part in the International Bear Hunt, which we have been supporting again since March. Nigel is sporting a gold plastic medal because London 2012 was victorious in this week's Clockwork Paralympics, which is a Wednesday feature where we race clockwork toys to see which bear in the bear hunt will wear a medal this week. The Surgeoners have a house full of medals, and we just have this one gold plastic one. But our teddy bear seems to have won for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, we have a house full of teddy bears. They've got the medals.
Yes, I think we should move on swiftly from that point. So what I'm going to do is just play you a 15-second TikTok video, which has been going around on social media advertising our festival. It's very fast and it doesn't have any sound till the end, but it does start with our lovely banner in full behind us, and it just gives you a little bit of a very quick glance of what we're going to be talking about in a moment. And like I say, there's much more information about that on our website. Julie?
It's amazing what you can get into 15 seconds, isn't it? Because that's a really nice sort of snapshot of the festival.
Well, it is and it isn't. I kind of hope with digital movies, if you're playing something on your phone, you can pause it. because I'm old enough to think that actually these things are quite hard to take in when they're played that fast. But yes, I think our attention spans and our ability to focus has massively shifted. When I was learning film editing, the absolute minimum a shot should be was 7 seconds. And yet now you can see shots going down to less than half a second and people are still taking them in. But we usually talk about photography and filmmaking on a Monday. And of course, we have lots of films, at least, coming up in our International Together Disability Film Festival. That's an annual event that this year is going to be entirely online. All of our activities are free, but what we're so pleased about this year, our digital year, is that people are able to access them from literally all over the world. So I hope we're going to have an audience at the film festival, particularly so many of the international filmmakers that contribute every year are going to be able to watch it. That film festival runs over the weekend of the 5th and 6th of December, with the films for the public starting on the Friday night. But we've got 2 days worth of workshops for filmmakers at any stage. So if you like making videos and you'd like to take a next step, do have a look at the program on the website. On the Thursday morning, we're looking at funding opportunities from both the BFI and the Arts Council. On Friday morning, we're looking at how you can get support from trade unions like Back2 and Equity. And in the afternoons, we're looking at how you can make films safely or using alternative methods in the age of COVID. We had invited somebody from Strictly Come Dancing, but we've just disinvited them again. Robin's looking puzzled. The dancer who, surprise, surprise, we were supporting was Nicola Adams, dancing with Katia Jones. And Katia, despite being in a bubble, has still managed to catch COVID and drop.
I did see that.
Yes, I mean, I said to Julie last night, have you seen the news? And she instantly knew what I was talking about, which I think, given the sort of world situation at the moment, is a little bit sad. But we were really looking forward to far more dancing from Nicola and Katia. And given how committed they were, again, I think it just actually, from a serious perspective, just reminds all of us you cannot be too careful. Nobody ever kind of said, oh, I wish I hadn't been that careful. It's always, I wish I hadn't been that careless. So it really is incredibly important, particularly, but not only, if you're in an area like East London or the North, which have got very, very high rates. The rates in Newham at the moment are absolutely rocketing. Obviously, lockdown should help that, but only if people, as we say, stay home, stay creative, and stay well. And fortunately, this month has never been a better month for staying at home and enjoying disability arts. So after 3:30 in our regular Something for the Weekend feature, we're going to be looking at some of the other festivals taking place, particularly the beautiful Octopus Club Festival, Dada Fest in Liverpool, which is coming up later in the month. And this week is Captioning Awareness Week. And of course, well, it's already Diwali. So very happy Diwali to anybody who's out there and celebrating it. But the major celebrations are tomorrow. So we'll also be looking at that after 3:30. But first, last night was the launch event of the festival. We officially launched the festival on our show on Wednesday, when of course we had the artist Jessica Starnes on. And Jessica is doing a wonderful project called Walk With Me. It's particularly aimed at shielders and other people who've been very restricted since March. And it's about the opportunity to take a virtual walk, completely facilitated by Jessica, to somewhere you'd like to share, and later to share the recordings with the audience. All of that information is now on the program page for her event on the website. So the way it works is you see the main program on the website, you click through to each event page, and that will have much more information. So the interview that Jess did on Monday is up on that page too, along with all of the details and how to contact her. But how was last night for everybody? We had a series of video performances, finished with a live performance, and of course, very serious tributes to some of the artists we've lost this year. Julie, how was it for you?
Oh, I thought it was great. I always enjoy the launch of our festival, and it is interesting to me that the festival itself goes so fast, so quickly. And last night was a bit like that as well. It did seem to go really quickly, but it was packed full of wonderful. I don't know, sort of demonstrations of skill, competence, sadness, but in a very celebratory fashion. So for me, I was well pleased actually.
Yes, I think we were very much about celebrating the lives of those we've lost rather than simply mourning them. But some of the things that have appeared on the I say appeared on the website, of course they haven't appeared on the website. Some of the things I've uploaded to the website over the last 12 hours plus are things that relate to last night's show. So, first of all, there is a live recording. It is going to be replaced with a recording where the captions are a little bit better in sync, because the current recording comes from YouTube, and we had the event on Zoom, which means it was running in time on Zoom, but not necessarily on YouTube. But the whole evening is up there. We also have some of the individual video performances: Sophie's Song by the cellist Joanne Cox, and Black Lives Matter by Act Up Newham. And I'm hoping, we had a very late contribution, which was a wonderful sitar tribute by Beluji Shrivastava. And Beluji's performed with us before. So we're just waiting to see if we've got permission, and then we'll put Beluji's performance up on the webpage so you can see that separately. You can also read Julie's speech in full, welcoming people to the festival. You can read my tribute to the artists that we've lost. So that's all on the event page. But we now also have two brand new pages today. One of them is a tribute page, and it's displaying the digital Muertas Ofrendas, and that's part of a project by Callaloo Arts. So the second new page explains what an ofrenda is, which is essentially an altar, and how these homemade, handmade altars play a role in the Mexican Day of the Dead feast. The Day of the Dead feast was last week, so it's very relevant. It's just that it hasn't, it's not quite on time. But you can build these ofrendas at any point in the year. What's really important, I think, to people who are Muslim is that you don't have to put a photograph up there, because obviously representations can be very difficult, not simply for Islam, but for some other religions. It's about finding ways to represent the person. We were mourning 6 artists from 6 very significant disability arts companies. And there's a really, really wonderful 3-minute digital ofrenda made by the people at Arcadia, which is the disability arts powerhouse in the Northeast, based in Newcastle. And they've just created what's effectively a whole installation with sound. It is absolutely beautiful. So that video's up there, along also with ofrendas for Lynn Levitt of Para Orchestra. And I've superimposed that because it was a digital still. I actually worked with Lynn back in the early noughties to create some visuals for some of her original compositions. So I've just put 3 minutes of one of those up with Lynn's ofrenda superimposed. And then we have one to Rob Denoy's Temple from Crip Hop Nation. And again, that's a still ofrenda. So I've put that up there with a few minutes of a performance by Crip Hop Nation featuring Rob from our 2014 festival. But the page by Callaloo Arts is really fascinating, because what it shows you how to do is how to create an ofrenda without any kind of outside resources and without spending any money. So there are instructions about how to make paper flowers, paper butterflies, how to use a cereal packet to make a recycled cardboard frame, and different ways that you can decorate it. And then for the digital ofrendas, there are literally what they call digital assets. So the pictures and things that you need to incorporate, all you've got to do is click on the website and you can download those straight to your own computer. And then the guides about how to do these things are available as videos or as PDFs. And indeed, you could look at the PDF once you've watched the video if the video went a little bit quick for you. So the elements they're showing you how to do is a digital frame or a ordinary frame, a physical frame. That's the word we have to trying to get used to these days, don't we? A physical frame, a digital frame, paper butterflies, digital butterflies, a lantern, and paper flowers. So it's a really beautiful thing. I think the companies that created an offrender really did find it cathartic. You can see I mean, even if you didn't know Jeff Armstrong, the offrender installation is just absolutely stunning, isn't it? You know, and it just allows people, I think, to kind of use their creativity to express their feelings. We've lost another 4 residents in this borough in the last week alone. So, you know, 2020 has really been marked by individual and shared grief. And we just felt, as you said, it had to be marked in the festival. But there are ways we can celebrate. And, you know, that was the balance that we wanted to achieve. Robin, you were effectively our doorman, weren't you? Anybody who was ticketed on Zoom or switched on early in YouTube, we needed to find an equivalent to the physical event. So we didn't need to let everybody in as if it was a Zoom meeting, because we have a much better system than that, where you just get straight in. But you just talked for 20 minutes, didn't you?
I did. I mean, and I actually enjoyed it. I sort of gave myself very short amount of time to work out what I had to do, and I kind of decided that I'd use my inner artist and pretend I was like a DJ, so that, you know, like you think how a radio DJ is talking to everybody but talking to nobody because there's no one there to talk to. So that was how I was doing it. Is I was believing that people were listening to me telling the stories about what was going to happen in the festival, and I mean, I couldn't begin to remember what I said. It was literally just, you know, coming out of my mouth as it was thought, rather than scripted in any way. So any those who were listening, any strange pauses or things that made no sense, sorry.
I thought you did brilliantly well, actually. I mean, and I think this is the challenge, not just for us, but for Beautiful Octopus Club, for Dada Fest, and of course, a huge range of arts organisations all over the world. How do you deliver the festival experience on a digital basis? I mean, fortunately, we're not the Glastonbury type of festival, because I think getting 100,000 people together digitally is really just called TV, isn't it? So, but what we wanted to do was make it interactive, because otherwise it's just a bunch of videos. So we've tried really hard to make this a festival that, yes, stays online, because it's always important to us to archive things, but also as disabled people ourselves, we know you might want to do something, but it doesn't mean you can do it that day. And that's why we pick out things like the videos, you know, and have them separately as well, so that if somebody can't watch the whole hour from last night, you know, they can watch individual chunks at a point when they want to, you know, so it will stay online. But yes, it's trying to find those interactive things. But we have 4 exhibitions now open. So you can find out about Jess already. You can revisit last night's show. You can find out about how to make your own muertes ofrendas and look at other people's. But we also have 4 whole exhibitions to explore, which are Ali Z's The Starving Artist, and that's set up entirely as a virtual gallery. So you navigate around as if you were in a gallery. Same with Shadowlight Artists' Luminous exhibition. Justin Edgar's Reasonable Adjustment exhibition is an entire website. So there's all sorts of different elements to explore there. And then the Together 2020 open exhibition, well, we don't do anything posh like that, but you can click on each image to be able to view it bigger. So just try to get that sort of close-up experience that you really would have in a gallery.
I was going to say that for me, I mean, so once I'd done my dormant bit, then, you know, became an audience member, as it were. And I think I mean, whether we can kind of put something on the website about how people can get in the mindset of believing they're in an audience. So I watched the launch last night as if I was there, as opposed to as if I was watching it on television. So I allowed it to, I allowed myself to be part of it. And so for me, obviously the Sign Dance Collective stuff was fabulous. But actually my strongest moment of enjoyment was actually Joanne Cox's playing of Sophie's song, which I just found really, really immersive, and was able to go and believe or create in myself the emotions that that song was delivering. And so I do think if there's something we can do to help people, not just the technical side of how to get online to do it, but actually kind of talk people through like believing that they are there.
Well, I think it's partly dressing up to go out to stay in, but I think one of the reasons we offer 2 viewing options is that sense of sometimes if you're on a Zoom and you're used to doing Zoom, you've got more of a sense that you're kind of part of it. But I find even watching Zoom meetings streamed to YouTube, if they're live, I do actually find it really riveting because it's that real time thing. And I think that's the difference, isn't it? It's really happening at that moment in time. Beautiful Octopus Club, as we said last week, have some fantastic ways of presenting information to do exactly what you were suggesting, Robin. So we'll talk about that after the break. Before that, I just wanted to flag up that coming up tomorrow will be the first of our family activities. So at 3 o'clock, or from 3 o'clock onwards, you'll be able to go onto the website, go onto the web page that says Strings and Things, and you will be able to download a set of resources for interactive storytelling at home that will certainly occupy at least one weekend. It's a really, really interesting project. It's for children and families, but also for people with profound and multiple learning disabilities. And it looks at concepts like near and far, all of the concepts that are related to lockdown. So it's very, very not lockdown specific, but very, very lockdown relevant and really kind of resulted from lockdown. So you can use something like a piece of string to explain to young children or to explain to people with multiple learning difficulties and disabilities what's going on. And indeed, I would have thought it was also applicable to people with dementia. On Monday, we will tell you much, much more about Tuesday evening's event, which is Ali Z's The Starving Artist. And I will be in conversation with Ali Z talking about the show and the issues from 7 o'clock on Tuesday. And then next Thursday, we have another performance night, which I'm going to tell you about on Wednesday. But it's all on the programme. And if you want to join in by Zoom, it's all bookable. You just click on the links. But before we recommend something for the weekend, I'm just going to pop on a quick video to show you how you can join in from home. Together 2012 is running a join in from home programme from our website together2012.org.uk. Click on the link at the top of the page, Join In From Home, to go straight to the main page where you have a wide range of accessible, inclusive creative activities, mostly using things that you would already have at home. At the top of the page and throughout the pages, you will also see videos in British Sign Language to translate the site for deaf people. These videos can also be useful if you have difficulties reading and you simply want to hear more of the content. The Join In From Home programme is based on the activities that we would usually be running in East London. So, for example, we have an arts club which usually operates on a Tuesday with craft-based activities and on a Friday morning for drawing and painting. Here you can join in with the arts club's Hands project and celebrate your uniqueness and membership of the human race. There are full instructions on the linked page here. But essentially, we invite you to draw around your hand on a piece of card. It could be an old cereal packet. cut the shape out, turn it over, and decorate it with anything you would like to do. It could be paints, crayons, glitter, collage, beads, leaves, anything you can think of. Photograph your hand or hands and send it to us at tv@together2012.org.uk. We'll add it to our video installation and share it on social media. Our music club usually meets on the first Friday of each month. We have an open mic session and we invite everybody to play along with percussion instruments. So here you can learn how to make your own percussion instruments from recycled materials. And you can also join in a percussion workshop from last summer in terms of carnival percussion. So these three instruments are used most often in carnival. We have a shaker and a go-go and a hand drum. So this is how to make a recycled shaker, a recycled go-go, and a recycled hand drum. You can also, if you're technically minded, make your own tactile sound instrument. This does require a few simple electronics, but is a very interesting and exciting project as part of our Vibrafusion ongoing work. You can also listen with Together. We have Spotify playlists created by Robin Surgeonator, also known as our TV presenter Angry Fish, and we also have 2 classical music playlists from Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, including one that's uniquely suited to people who are feeling very unwell. And now, in terms of joining in from home, I've had a video sent in from Steraplergia, one of our regular presenters, as well as a member of ACT UP Newham. And she's just going to demonstrate how she's been painting with leaves.
Hi, I'm Stara, and I made a painting using leaves. Bye.
I'm just going to pop in a bit of audio description here. So Stara's gone out into the woods and collected leaves. She's started by painting a canvas with a sort of cover, a wash of colour. And now she's painting the leaves and placing them on top. And it's created a really lovely collage. So she's got some gold and silver. Now she's started putting other things on, and it's just become, I still can't work out exactly how she's done it, but it is absolutely beautiful. So we'll pop that video up on our highlights and links page, which is a good opportunity for me to tell you that our highlights and links page is under the main Together TV Unlocked menu. And it's going to have links to everything we've discussed today, including our recommendations for something for the weekend. So who wants to start?
I'll go first then. So as you mentioned earlier, it is Diwali this weekend, which is a Hindu festival of light. But it's not just about light and dark, it's about good and evil. And interestingly, from what you're saying about the strings and things, kind of the concept of far and near also fit under that. So it's kind of, a bit of kismet going on there. There are a number of things going on in many, many places to celebrate Diwali, but obviously we are under lockdown, so in the UK we're not able to go out and celebrate. But there is a really big Diwali festival which hails from Aylesbury. There, that's good. And I've put a link. Well, there will be a link up for that. It's tomorrow afternoon. And you can book space to be part of that. And it looks like they've got artists from all over the world sending in info, but also because Diwali is not just the one-day festival. The Diwali celebrations in Birmingham happened last weekend. but there is a link which I've also put up, which brings you all the recorded celebrations from last weekend and the artist performances and stuff like that. Which means if you want to be doing something for Diwali, but don't necessarily want or can't make the live one yesterday tomorrow, there are there are options to be taking part in Diwali at your own kind of convenience, as it were.
Yes, because it's a 5-day festival, isn't it? I believe it officially started yesterday, and yes, in my ignorance, but I believe Sikhs celebrate it as well. Certainly, we usually celebrate a great deal in Newham, even though we don't have a huge Hindu and Sikh population, but we do enjoy a good firework or two, and I suspect there'll be quite a few of those going off come what may. Every local authority seems to have come up with some kind of remote form of celebration for people to get together locally. So it's worth having a look to see what's on offer. But I'm not surprised it's Aylesbury, and I tell you for why. We have been talking to Aylesbury Council for quite a number of years because, of course, they're the kind of host, if you like, of the Paralympic legacy. And in the summer, we should have been over in Aylesbury doing wheelchair dance as part of the Paralympic handover ceremony. So, yeah, well done, Aylesbury.
Yeah.
Spent many weekends of my youth in Aylesbury at various sports things. So my things for the weekend, talking about doing lots of sports things when I was younger. There's a load of live sport kind of going on this weekend, which I'm mostly going to have on in the background, I think, based on all the what I was talking about earlier. But if anyone wants to join me in half watching a load of live sport this weekend, you have the Formula One is returning to Turkey. It's the first time they've been there for 9 years, I think, which should be quite interesting. The International Swimming League, their semi-finals start tomorrow, and that's all available free online to watch. And then the Autumn Nations Cup starts tomorrow as well, which is a kind of 8-team international rugby tournament that's all being kind of hosted on Amazon Video. So that would be quite interesting. I think one of the good things about Amazon, we're talking about things being online and being able to rewatch it, that if you kind of miss the match, or you can't watch it, or you don't want to watch 80 minutes, I mean, pretty much literally as soon as it finishes, you can then rewatch it from the start on demand. So yeah, that was my 3 sport things for this weekend.
And I was going to add to that, probably much to the displeasure of other people in our house, we have enough laptops to have the rugby on a laptop, the swimming on a laptop, and the Formula One on a laptop.
What it must be to be a Paralympian. I probably have got all sorts of devices kicking around, but funnily enough, it's just never occurred to me to use them quite in that way. Before I come to Julie and back to you for more, since I am burdened with lots of bits and pieces, not having a brilliant memory, I wanted to just flag up for my recommendations the things I talked about earlier. So, first, it's Caption Awareness Week, which has been organised by our friends at Stage Text. Stage Text do a lot of theatre captioning, that's their speciality. And what this is about is captioned theatre performances that are now available online. They're available online because a company called Scene Saver was set up back in April. And again, we've been in contact with them since April because they want disabled theatre makers to know that you have the facility to upload your performances. And then at the moment it's free, but people are asked to make donations, and those donations go directly to the company. So this week they have 32 captioned performances, many of which wouldn't usually be on Scene Saver because they're really big hitters. So yeah, it ranges from Shakespeare to a celebration of London's Asian diaspora artists, and also includes tomorrow for one day only a play called Scrounger, starring Athena Stevens, and it's showing from the Finborough Theatre. So I don't know if it's a live streaming tomorrow, but it's certainly a play that I've heard about and is very, very famous. So most of those plays won't have anything, well, most of what we recommend, other than our own festival, has nothing to do with disability. But there's obviously some great performances, and not least Scrounger. Now, I'm just going to get my thing to finger ID again. So, Heart and Soul. In fact, the Beautiful Octopus Club Festival, let me put you on a very short video and you'll also see the colours and things they're using for yourself. So that gives you a small glimpse of the Beautiful Octopus Club. The festival is very sensibly based around the weekends, and tonight at 7 o'clock to 7:30 there is a live studio session with Sam Castell Ward, and it's an intimate performance featuring new music and live poetry. So they've got some very good symbols for things like listening and time and so on. But if I click onto the event page, where it also gives me more information, just like our event pages. So it says Sam creates unique raw songs with poetic lyrics and important messages. On the night, hear some of Sam's latest tracks, watch his brand new music video, and enjoy live poetry readings. And what they say at the side is how you can get ready, things to bring. Bring along some headphones or a good sound system. Space. Find a quiet and comfortable place to listen. You. Get ready to hear some music and poetry. So I love the way they're doing that. I'm having to use Julie partly as a prop at the moment. So also tomorrow from 2 to 3:15 there's deep space guided meditation, but it's again very much based around creative activities. So things to bring some art materials like paper and pens. Space, find a quiet, warm and comfortable place to sit or lie down. Have a hard surface nearby to draw on. You wear warm, comfortable clothes and have a warm drink with you. So I think that's really terrific. They've also, as Beautiful Octopus Club, each weekend this month, have taken over Radio Soho. So from 6 to 7 tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, you can also listen to the Beautiful Octopus Club live on Radio Soho. So that, I think, is in itself a wonderful range of things to do, and we will be continuing to report on the Beautiful Octopus Club Festival as it goes on. So who wants to jump in with something that they've missed?
Well, let's have something from Julie.
Yeah, thank you.
Finally.
No, that's fine. I love this. I love Beautiful Octopus Club. They do such good music. And unfortunately, the only time I've been there, I've been working, so I haven't been able to really enjoy it. So I shall enjoy listening to the radio. I like listening to the radio anyway, and I'll enjoy that. As I said, I love sailing. I love watching sailing, and the Vendée Globe has started. It's in day 6. I just checked. And the sailors are just off the coast of Azores. They're going down through the Atlantic down to the Cape of Good Hope, sailing round into the Southern Ocean, and then doing a clockwise link of Antarctica, and then sailing back past the Cape Horn and back to France where they started. There's 5 women sailing, which I think is amazing. I just think
Is that captains, you mean?
No, it's single. It's,
oh, I see. I
yeah,
didn't realise.
It's the single sailors, and it's non-stop. They have to circumnavigate the globe, which is why it's the globe, but without stopping.
Oh, now that actually answered my other question, because I was thinking, I thought all of these sailing races had been suspended because they're not allowed into harbours.
No,
but-
well, they're not, because they were, and if they do, they have 10 days. The first 10 days of the race, if something breaks and they need to go back, they can go back and start again to the harbour that they set off from. But after that, if anything breaks, they either have to mend it themselves or to withdraw from the race. It's set at this time of year so that it maximizes the winds and the safety around the Southern Ocean. And it's single hulled. But there's a lot of sailors taking part, but to have 5 women. Ellen MacArthur did it some years ago, actually, some considerable years ago, and I think she was one of the first women.
Yes, and that was at a point when they thought women couldn't do it. And of course, it
Mm.
has to be said, the reason women can do it is also the reason that disability just becomes less and less important. They've got all sorts of fantastic kit, which means you don't have to do it with brute strength. You just have to be able to use your brains and operate the kit. But I don't think there's ever been a year where I yearn more to be watching their videos and just doing real time sailing with them. And I think there's probably never been a year where people can empathize more. You know,
Yeah.
you always hear about, how isolating it is despite all of the modern communications and so on and the things that they pack. But, yes, I think it's the first time that I've really kind of begun to understand what it must be like. But at the same time, it's being just a tiny bit envious because it's 7 months indoors without going further than the gate. I'd rather really be at sea. Call me old-fashioned.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the other thing, very briefly, was that I was also noted that it was Diwali this weekend. We're in the middle of it. I wondered how that impacted, if there was any guidance for disabled people, and I found some lovely, lovely videos on the search engine. Um, One particularly from New Zealand, which is also signed as usual, because other countries do that fairly regularly, as unlike us. But it's different groups of children, sadly in special schools, it seems, but they've been creating all sorts of pieces of work that they want to sell. And I just thought it was enchanting. The work is lovely, but it also fits in with the ethos of Together. Not so much the selling, although in time we will, but it's the sort of like the making, the celebratory aspect of things, which I thought was beautiful. I really recommend that little piece that I'm going to put out.
Yes, so all of that will be on the highlights and links page. It's usually live by 5 or soon after, depending on how soon everybody sends me their links. And that will have details of everything that we've talked about today, including our festival, the Beautiful Octopus Club Festival, Captioning Awareness Week, and Dada Fest, which is coming up at the end of the month. It's worth beginning to book for that as well. All of our future events for the festival are open for booking, but of course, you don't have to do anything. You can just watch us on YouTube. I know Robin, as is customary for a Friday, is going to finish with a song. So before that, Robin, does anybody have anything
Could
they'd
I-
like to add? Yes, Julie,
I'm-
you're the chair, like
I'm
you
jumping
said.
up and down. I just really want to take my hat off to Josh. I thought you did an exceptional job last night, and it really helped us to have the show go so smoothly. You did all the technical support. It was something new to you in the main, but you did it beautifully, and thank you so very, very much.
Yes, and I think that's a really apt time to say on camera a huge thank you from all of the artists concerned. The feedback has been excellent. The audience, I dare say, was actually bigger than we would have had in Newham. So it was all rather stressful for everybody concerned. But we hope that you enjoyed it. If you weren't able to get there, we hope you enjoy exploring the different elements, the different performances. Like I say, the individual performances should also be up later. Some of them are already up now. Was there anything else for the weekend?
I'll quickly say mine. It was just following on from the recommendation that I made, I think 2 weeks ago, is that as a family, we have now embraced Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials, and really, really enjoying it. I mean, it's beautifully shot, and I know we're not here to talk about film, but it is really a really rich experience. And the lead actress, who is, I don't know how old she is, probably older than the part, but is actually really fantastic. You don't feel like you feel like you're there rather than watching something.
And that's all free on iPlayer, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Josh?
I had a rubbish joke was, did they have to finish the race in 80 days or quicker? But that's enough from me. So I'll say goodbye and I will move out
Yes,
of
don't give up the day jobs.
the car. So bye,
Although
guys.
if anybody fancies coming onto this show and doing comedy, they would be extraordinarily welcome. It's the only element we don't have in the festival this year. And indeed, nobody came forward to propose any, but we know there are lots of disabled comedians out there. So if you'd like to come on the show, please do. I'm going to switch off now, say stay home, stay creative, and stay well. And I'm going to hand over to Robin to introduce his own song.
Well, hi everybody. So this is Angry Fish. Hopefully you will all realise that our festival this year is called History Makers, and the song I'm going to play, I wrote quite some time ago, about 15 years, and I think it is still very relevant in terms of the content of the lyrics, and it is in fact called History. I hope I'm just not too rusty with it. Think about my history. Hear about the way things used to be. Read about times gone past. There's something real missing in all the wars and kissing. Gonna change the past at last. Look into the past and you will find people there who've been left behind. People in the past who've done nothing wrong, but been left out in the cold like they don't belong. We've got to seize the moments and make them amount to a history that matters, others brought to account. We're there, we're now. We've always been here. Got to write the books of history so that we appear. Ask yourself, go on, ask yourself, what part in time have we had? What is it that we did that got us locked away? Nothing we did was that bad. The parting of the water should have turned the tide, 'cause Moses was disabled, he was on our side. Throw out the myths, distort the lies, and shout out loud, we're here with pride. Go on, throw out the myths, distort the lies, and shout out loud, we're here with pride. Look into the past and you will find people there who've been left behind. People in the past who've done nothing wrong, but been left out in the cold like they don't belong. We've got to seize the moments and make them amount to a history that matters, others brought to account. We're there, we're now. We've always been here. Let's write the books of history so that we appear. Look into the past and you will find people there who've been left behind. People in the past who've done nothing wrong, but been left out in the cold like they don't belong. We've got to seize the moments and make them amount to a history that matters, others brought to account. We're there, we're now. We've always been here. Let's write the books of history so that we appear. We're there, we're now. Let's rewrite the books of history so that we appear. Thank you and have a great weekend.